Welcome to part two of 100 Ways to Spend Your Gap Year. I'm a professional gap year counselor, and I've got no shortage of ideas about how to spend your gap year. The theme of the next 10 ideas are going to be working or cost positive ways to spend your gap year that are cost effective, adventurous, fun, and leverage your own skill set. So let's get to it. First idea, as you can see, is starting your own business. You can do this from home or you could do it from somewhere else. But think about a skill that you have that you can start to earn money for that you also like doing. So this could be dog walking, landscaping, catering. If you like photography, you could take senior portraits and charge for them. These are all things that I've had past students do where they've been able to earn a good amount of income for it and leverage their own skill set and control their own time as well. Next up, similarly, selling your own products. Like, what do you make? Are you a knitter? Do you do ceramics? Do you have like an artistic skill where you can produce something that other people want to buy? Start an Etsy shop, sell them locally. Actually, one of my students this year is a ceramic artist, and I just saw that he is selling his stuff at a local coffee shop. It's so cool. It's a way to make some extra cash. It might not fund your travels and stuff like that, but it's great experience. And it's also, a great learning opportunity to start your own business. So highly recommend for all my skiers and snowboarders out there, it is becoming a ski instructor. So this is something that you can do at a local hill if you happen to live somewhere that is cold. If you don't, you can do this in other places, especially if you can secure housing in a ski community in the Western US or Northeast US. And you can actually get working holiday visas for Canada as well, but these run on a lottery. So sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than working in the States if you're an American citizen. Have you thought about working for half your year so that you can travel? This is what I call the British program because this is traditionally what is common to do in the UK and elsewhere where gap years are super popular. A lot of times, what you'll do is you'll work and earn money for half of your year, and then you'll backpack and travel and go off and do cool things kind of after the holidays. So, the second half of your gap year. So, consider that. If you can live at home and just have revenue coming in from jobs, you can earn a good amount of money to then do some really cool things with. If you want to earn money, but you don't want to be at home, you can do some really cool things still. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you need to have a cost positive or a revenue building gap year experience. Think about destination work. But this basically means that you can go and live in a tourism community or at a resort and earn money, working at a hotel, working for a outfitter, doing something interesting like that that offers employee housing, which means you don't have to find your own housing. You can live where you work. Usually you're living with other cool, adventurous young people when you do that, and you're earning money. So usually they'll take out a little bit of your paycheck to offset the cost of your housing, but it's still included, and it takes out a big kind of question mark of where you're going to live if you live away from home. So highly recommend this. There's a couple websites like CoolWorks where you can look for these kinds of jobs. So take a look. But do you need to get out of the United States? Then you can actually work abroad. Did you know that you can do this? You can go as an American citizen. If you are over 18, you can get working holiday visas in Australia or New Zealand, also Canada, if by lottery. And then depending on your citizenship and school status, other countries might be open to, like the UK, like Ireland. If you have dual citizenship with a European country, you can work in the EU. So think about your options for working abroad. This is quite an independent way to spend gap time. But if you are like over the age of 20, it's a no-brainer. You can just like go and live and get a job in like Melbourne or Queenstown, New Zealand or something like that. Have a good time. These visas are going to be good for up to a year, sometimes longer, and they sometimes allow you to extend. I feel like I'm getting smaller as this list goes on. I've not done the list thing before, but national parks is another way to spend your gap year, especially during this summer and fall months. And then some national parks are also busy during the winter. So if you love your public lands, there's many ways to work at them. You can work in a traditional like assistant ranger or junior ranger role. You can sometimes work front desks or like information centers. Sometimes national parks will have hotels or other tourist facilities on site, and you can actually work at them and earn money. And a lot of them do offer employee housing. If you're more outdoorsy, you can also sometimes get trail work and conservation crew roles at national parks. So take a look. It's also best to look individually at the parks you want to work at, or if you're more general, you can look at USA Jobs, and that's a good place to kind of start from. If you like kids or think you might want to go into education, think about a TEFL certification, which is teaching English as a second language. You can actually take this course outside the country, or you can take it online. But once you get a TESOL or a TEFL certification, it actually qualifies you to work as a teacher in other countries. And so this opens up the door to all sorts of other visas, but sometimes you do have to have a certain amount of college or other qualifications in order to actually get a job abroad. So a good place to go for more information on this is Dave's ESL Cafe. That is like the OG teaching English as a foreign language resource community. So take a look at that if you're interested in teaching abroad. Work on a boat. Do you like sailing? It's really fun. And you can often get jobs as crew members. So if you have sailing experience, you can sometimes get a job as like an assistant skipper. I don't know the exact positions, but sometimes you can get crew jobs on boats, or sometimes they need like culinary staff on yachts or other types of assistants. I mean, maybe you've seen Below Deck, so you know. But there are some websites like Crew Seekers and other places where you can look for boat jobs, which can be pretty cool. And sometimes you can actually learn how to sail through these positions. So check it out. Last but not least is seasonal work. This basically just means that you are following the seasons and looking for jobs that might fit your interests based on the time of year. So in summer, you can get a summer camp job, which is highly recommend. It's so much fun. But then fall, there's fall foliage up here in New England. So there might be opportunities to work up here. There's harvest work depending on certain times of year in certain areas of the country. So think about following the seasons. There's actually a website called Seasonal Work where you can look and see all the job postings for work based on season. So that's another option. In summary, finances don't have to be a barrier for your year. We're going to keep this rolling with a part 3, so stay tuned for more ideas for your gap year.